Hello, today we're going to continue learning about angles. Our goal today is to work on classifying angles, labeling angles, and estimating angles. During today's activities, you're going to see an angle just like this. Notice here we have an angle given to us, labeled XYZ or ZYX. Your goal is to select, is it acute, obtuse, or right? You are also going to select an angle estimation as well as an angle name. Now the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at this angle. By looking here, I have angle XYZ. I see that there's a marking here, and this marking is going to tell me that it is in fact a 90-degree angle. And that's telling me when we have exactly a 90-degree angle, we do have a right angle. So I'm going to circle right angle here because that is how I can classify this angle. Now I need to determine the correct estimate. So here I have either 90 degrees, 80 degrees, or 100. Now, yes, this looks close to 80 or 100. However, because there's this marking here that's telling me it's an exact 90-degree angle, which is why we did label this right angle. So we're going to also select a 90-degree measurement for my estimate. Now, labeling my angle choice. My angle name here, in fact, is XYZ. So I'm going to write X, Y, Z. And you'll see I wrote out angle XYZ. And we can also label this something else. Here, if we look at XYZ, we can also call this ZYX. So all of these angles, in fact, will have two options because there's two ways to say these angles. Both ways are correct, but it's important that you can identify that the middle letter here, Y, in fact, is the middle letter here and here because that is my vertex. So when you're classifying these angles, and in fact, when you're labeling them, it's important that you identify the vertex and make sure that letter is in the middle when you are labeling your angle. It's very important because it's going to help us determine what type of angle it is, and you have to make sure you're labeling in the correct order. So again, we have XYZ or ZYX. They are both correct answer choices. In this next angle here, we have angle PQR, or we have angle RQP. So just like I was saying before, we have two options, PQ, R, and RQP. Now, looking at the way I labeled this angle, I notice that Q is the middle letter in both of my labels. That's because that is the vertex of this angle. The vertex needs to be the middle letter when you are labeling your angle. Notice it's Q here and Q here. That's going to help me identify the two correct options when labeling my angle choices. Now, taking a closer look at this angle, I'm noticing here that this angle is greater than 90 degrees. If I look at an L here, I can see that this is a little bit larger than an L. And in fact, that's telling me that this has to be greater than 90 degrees. Now, if I have to classify this angle, I need to select acute, obtuse, or right. So thinking about the definitions of these three words, an obtuse angle is an angle that's greater than 90 degrees. Therefore, this angle here would be an obtuse angle. Now, looking at my angle estimates given to me, I want to select the best option. So I need to choose something that's greater than 90 degrees. The only option here is 120 degrees. Now, I don't have a protractor right now, so I'm using this as an estimate. If I was to put a protractor to this angle, I might think it could be 118 degrees, maybe 122 degrees, and that's okay if this isn't completely exact. But my goal here is just to have an estimate that this angle is approximately 120 degrees. Now in this next problem, I'm going to actually start with my angle name first. Again, I have DEF. Notice as I'm going around my angle DEF. And I know that every angle can have two labels, DEF or FED. Now notice here I'm trying to identify what letter is in the middle between both of these labels. I see there's an E in the middle here and an E in the middle here. That means that E is my vertex. When we are labeling our angles, it's important that that middle letter represents your vertex. That's how you know you labeled it correctly. Notice as I'm going around, I have D, E, F, or F, E, D. Now by looking at this angle, I recognize that this angle is in fact less than 90 degrees. When an angle is less than 90 degrees, we can classify it as an acute angle. So I'm going to select an acute angle as my option. That means it's less than 90 degrees. So for an angle estimate here, I need to select the degree measurement that is less than 90 degrees. And my only option here is 45 degrees, which when I'm looking at this angle, it does look like this is halfway between 90, which half of 90 is 45. So I do agree that 45 degrees is a correct estimate for angle DEF. During today's activities, we do not have a protractor, so it is time to estimate these angles to determine the correct degree measurement. When estimating angles, it's important to first identify your angle as acute, obtuse, or right. That will help make the estimation much easier. During today's activities, feel free to refer back to this video at any time to help you.